Hi, welcome. This is the best feeling in your life, whether it is a sweet food, a look from someone, an interview, or anything you did, and you cannot forget it because of its sweetness, but I feel that it will never happen again. Imagine if someone came and told you, I have an invention that will let you lie the experience. This is the second thing is if you were living it in reality and in a realistic way. Of course, you will still want to pay everything behind you and what is in front of you in order to try it, and this is what made the heroes of the movie Ozo Life one of the strongest science fiction films released in 2017. Think about the idea that you will see in Fulfil, who begins with Brienne, who is sitting with her brother, Frederica Alshat, and they were happy and they were laughing, and he told her, "We're done, that's it, we won't do it again." She said to him, "Uncle, I'm tired. Are we old, or?" Well, he stopped visiting and being lazy, and they went down to Albarani to do free diving again, and then we saw Rayan in the balcony of her apartment, and she had an unidentifiable black color coming out of her eyes. Is this eyeliner or what? Then we see many tubes around them filled with black water. Then we see a box of pizza and boxes of food. This indicates that she is busy and has not been in the kitchen very much and has been relying on ready-made food for the last time. Then we see her with her eyes open and crying and thinking about what happened while she was holding her brother in the water while he was drowning in water, his blood, and this is what happened when they went to water again. And then we see her getting what she needed and her pictures and talking. We see her in a flashback with a committee from the Ministry of Health, and they tell her, "You don't understand what you are doing." She told them, "Guys, this is what we will bring back and add more. We are reprogramming memories and inserting them into humans, so there is no difference between them and between reality. You feel that you are experiencing something realistic, strong, because the chemical effect of memories is like that reality in what we are doing, so it will remain a very solid object and we can use it for a million things." Then we see her with her brother in the hospital, and she puts a device on his head for him and says to him, "Good morning," and starts preparing her laptop. And then she opens her brother's eyes while he is in a coma and gives him the liquid from the black one she had with her. Keeps waiting for something to happen, and she keeps track of the results on the laptop, waiting for there to be any chemical effect on his brain or a response from his brain, but there is no result, and she picks up what she needs so she can go and try it again, and then we will see it. On the metro, she is going to work, and then she receives many calls from her father, and she does not answer them until she arrives at her job in a huge garage operated by a company and full of people. There is a timer who tells them that Fatal has a long time to launch their project, and then there is less than a week left. And then one of them asks her more time for his task, and she tells him, "Okay, uncle, I will give you 30 minutes at your leisure." And then we see her speaking to the committee, and they tell her that her father said before that he did not want to continue with this idea at all because this substance is used too much and it could lead to cerebral palsy, trauma, or blue spots. She told her, yes, it is normal. It is not a material like any material, and the more it is used, the more it will be used. Guys, we are offering a breakthrough. We are providing a full day in human life that walks in a healthy manner in less than a minute. This means that you can climb mountains in less than a minute, as if you had climbed in a day while you were in your place and feeling the same. The feeling that she will feel in reality, and also travel and do anything you want. And then we will see her in her laboratory with her friend who is working with her on the project, and they say that it is cool. Now we will try ice skating, and then we will get up and she will put the device for mind interactions, and then he will put the penis in her eyes so that she will find herself useful. There is a hut in an icy place, and she goes out, sits outside, and starts skating. And she is very happy. After a few seconds, the topic is repeated again, and she finds herself at the beginning of the event again, and the hypothetical time that she sat on remains for 2 days, and the topic is repeated a second, third, and fourth time, until it reached that there were 6 days left, and Rin began to scream and get afraid and say that this is the case. In the end, it's just a code, and don't be afraid. And then the place starts moving and the mountains get bigger, but thank God she comes out all the time and tells him this is a terrible experience. He told her, okay, let's go ice skating. She told him, no, it's not. Ugh, this is propaganda. What's wrong with it? It's a mistake in the code. He told her, no, it's not there. The code, she said to him. I know what to say to you, my son. Come on, I will return to God until you are lost. Then she leaves him and walks to catch the meeting she was late for. The one who was with Sami, the manager of the company, joins her at the same time, and she enters to find him. He says that you can find everything you dream of in the project of life. The other thing they do is that you can go on a safari or visit a distant lake during your lunch break at work in less than a minute. Other than that, these tools and uses can be developed and used in different fields, such as, for example, isolation and rehabilitation. A child can be rehabilitated and take his place in court, and he doesn't even go away instead of going to the correctional facility, so of course they disperse, and Ren might talk to you about she talked to me in a scientific way as well, and Ren comes in after he finishes talking, and her hands have room to talk, and she is afraid to speak and finish, and after she finishes, she tells him, we are close to opening, but we need to change some things, and we need some things that have come a second time. He said to her, forget. She said to him, why? I remember that the meeting went well and everything was fine. He said to her, yes, but these people intend to pay after we open. It's very difficult for us to convince them to pay before her. She said to him, okay, I will see you in the company and try with them again and say. And then while she is outside, she will see again and think the committee was telling her that she was a prison worker or that she was controlling people's thoughts, and this was something immoral. She told them, by God, it is a sharp weapon. Like anything, everyone uses it according to what they want. It is natural that, as in the beast, there is also the sweet in it, and then it sits with its owner, who he is programming with it, and she says to him, sir, the problem is with the code, as I told you. He told her, it's cool, let's try it again. She goes in and tries it and finds that it is perfectly fine and working, thank God. Then they leave to go, and Danny is inside him, telling her, I brought you the long simulation reports. She told them, I want work in the long simulation and work. The second programmer wouldn't sit with Sam alone. He told her, I work with your manager and an employee. I won't invite him. If he told me, come to bro, your manager said to him, you're my normal partner. Then they walk away, and Rin sits down to try out the modifications in her brother's code, which she wants to surpass. Then we see the committee talking to her again and saying, but that's wrong. You're planting ideas in me. People say you control it. Madam said to her, it can happen in other ways, and then they are the ones who choose what to do with it, and they can be treated with it and be punished with it, as we said. Everyone chooses what to do. Then we see her again in the hospital at her brother's, and she's trying. She hates the memory that I am with her brother after I changed it, and She prays and puts it down, and this time she finds him blinking and can't believe herself, and says to the doctor who came by unawares and shook him and quickly removed everything before it was close. He said to her, "My lady, don't worry about it. He also deceives me all the time," and then she leaves him and gets up and walks. She thanks the doctor and comes back to change her coat again while she is sitting, and her friends call him and they tell her that she missed a lot here, and she tells them that she is sorry. "I have a lot of work." Then we see her attending a lecture. She finishes for her father and he says to her, "I am surprised that you came." She told him that the doctor originally told me about the topic that we remove these devices. "Oh," she said to him, "you can't do that." He said to her, "I can't. It's okay. I swear, but I'm coming to ask for your blood before I do it. Nothing more, so you can help me do it." She said to him, "I'm not working on a solution. It's so he can return it." He said to her, "My daughter, understand, I have tried this matter before you rush in, and I tell you that there is no hope, and this topic will lead us to 60 years old, and its problems are much greater than the pain of advantages." She said to him, "No, you're the one who did not occupy your brain, but it is good." He told her, "There is no use for you. I will leave in general because I have a second lecture, and then she will go to work." She enters the laptop and finds that she does not have permission to access such and such things, and she asks her friend to enter the device and bring her a copy of all her work. Then she goes to Sam and tells him, "And then you are spying on me. You and my assistant told her, not spying, no, but when we are working, I add the amount of nano that we have in a project. I don't see anything strange." She told him, "This is a personal issue." He told her, "There is no such thing as a personal issue at work. We are partners. We are not playing here, and this nano requires an expense. You agree to help me in proposing to the government. We want to do a prison and a bomb simulation. Why do the prisoners get imprisoned for a year, and 2 and 3 in less than 5 minutes, and the children also feared correctional facilities in less than 5 minutes, but it was as if they had been there for years." She told him, "This is a prison. I will never engage in my work in this matter or in this disgust." He told her, "Okay, so you stay focused on the mother of the project, which will bring us money, and let us go." Whole office is on them, and they are screaming before she walks and leaves the place. While she is outside, she meets Danny, and he greets her and says to her, "What are you doing? You look stressed. Let's go eat or drink something." She eats and says to him, "No, you are not missing at all. Walk away from here." Then you find that she is upset and tells him, "Okay, let's go home. Come on." They go home, and after they take Suez into hell, we see him experiencing one of his memories of ice skating, and he is very happy. After he finishes, he finds her in front of him saying to him, and here he says to her, "Very hard, this is the first time I try it, and I never thought that she was realistic in this way," and she tells him the most important thing is that you are happy. But then she turns around and sees something on the mobile phone, and he says to her, "Let's go back to work, so you won't be late. Come on," and she turns around and plays on the mobile phone again. Then he tells her, "Can I try it again?" and she doesn't answer him, so he takes one of those in front of him and tries it. And she comes out with her brother's drowning experience, and then we see him convulsing, and she takes her mind and runs to him, and he does not have the injection. She tries to call someone who will follow her, but she does not catch up. Then we see her sitting with Sam, and the lawyer tells her, "I don't understand anything else about what you are saying." She said to her, "Go Sam, get us someone who will understand our business. She said to her, no, my love, no one understands your business and will not be able to help you. Our defense will be that you are not making a mistake, and all your work is 100M. Then Sam tells her to go out and leave us for a while. Then he says to me, Rain, can you tell me what this experience is? Is it the anniversary? We are 3 years away. We obtain approvals and conduct human experiments, and in the end, all of this will come down and fly away, and then we see her sitting alone in solitary confinement, and she finds people inside her with Sam, and she says to them, okay, who told her that I am from the government? Then Sam tells her, this is a tight contract. This man from the government will make an agreement with us. Danny's death and the whole incident, and then they will separate from you as if nothing had happened, but all of this in exchange for you agreeing to let him experience the long imprisonment he suffered from. She said to him, no, you are joking, and then you are in a position to talk about this for how long, God willing. Said to her, no, you are joking. What? Lady, but let's think about it with our minds. The homie is dead. Our work will be gone, and you will be in prison. What will we do now? Try to intervene. You are not losing anything. It is a year, but it will pass in 5 minutes, not more. Don't be afraid. Then when she thinks it in her mind, she will find that what he said is really true. Then she will go to the workshop with them and sleep and wait for the experience, and all of them, they stand and check with the programmer who has some instructions, because this is the first time they have run a simulation for a year. And she tells him that if anything happens, Tarek uses this emergency injection along the spine under the skull. Though make a mistake, he tells her not to be afraid, and they tell her that she will find clean clothes, water, and food. There was drink and everything she needed there, and she put her penis down and found herself in a room wearing prison clothes. And in front of her was a huge screen with one written on it, indicating that it was the first day. Then she started examining the place around her and saw the walls and the ventilation holes and everything. They had left her the tablet and a pen so she could write the notes she needed, and she sat down and said that the place wants a ventilation window or a window that looks outside, and they want to interact with people during confinement so they don't go crazy. Then she starts to see the food, drink, water, nuts, and things you put for her so she can eat from them, and she sits thinking about her metal memories before he died, and she lets regret overwhelm her. And then she thinks about her memories of her brother when he died and drowned. She found him that day, and he came out looking for him from a far place and found his body. She fell headlong into her hand, and she was thinking about this because of her pressure on the iron. Then she sat and analyzed what she was going to do to her brother and reviewed the mistake in it. She came to the conclusion that it was her brother's fault, and he was the one who, when the opportunity passed before him, no longer wanted to live or survive. Then she sits playing stress and does a million things until the year passes by, and she waits to finish so she can go out, but then she finds that the timer has started counting from the first one, and then she sits screaming and saying no and gets angry and annoyed, pulling her hair and everything around her, breaking the screen in front of her, and trying to open the air vents, but nothing in front of her. It's black and there's nothing. And then she sits upset and thinks about many fantasies that she came up with, like that Sam decided to keep her here and laughed at her and agreed with the government, and that Danny died because of her, and that she lost her brother and she wouldn't be able to save him. Then she finds some air inside her from the side, and she knows that the air is coming from the window and is coming out of the window, a small hole through which the air comes, and she keeps deflating and moving until she finds herself outside the room and still in the company, but the whole place is empty. There is nothing in it except the room she was in, and she finds behavior outside of it, and she goes out and finds herself in a storeroom full of water, like the one she used to put in that room, and all that she was eating during the fasting period. Then she finds a screen in front of her that monitors the room in which she is sitting, and there is someone standing outside talking on the phone, and as soon as he sees her, he screams and yells at her, and she starts running and goes outside and finds his car there, and she gets in, locks, turns, and flies in it, and he is behind her, not following her, and then she parks the car. At one point, she starts walking on her feet, and then he sees, and he tells you what you want to do in your next life. Decide now and come and try it with us in a minute. And then you go to the hospital first to find your brother and ask about him. Thank God, he will be there normally, and you are afraid to find him still alive. And then you decide to go to the company headquarters, and you can't find anything at all. Then she goes out and walks in the street and goes to the police and tells them what happened. They told her, my lady, you are not wanted at all. You are not wanted in any place at all, and you do not have any problems or any talk or effect of an agreement between you and the government. You are just in a report about you. About a year ago, she said to them, guys, I was locked in a cage for a year. I swear, don't look at me like that, at least until you come with me and see the cage I was in and go and find that there is nothing in the place where he rested with him except the drain that was under the room. And they walk and leave without caring, and she is wronged and does not understand what happened. Then she goes to her old house and the guard tells her, I had to see you, by God, but it will not be of any use to anyone who has been living here for a year, and this is his apartment. She said to him, Uncle, by God, I live here, so see what I need in the deposit boxes. So I see her. Okay, stay here, and then they go and call the man who locked up Rin, and they try to call on her, but as soon as she sees them, she runs quickly, and they try to go around the building to catch her, and no one knows whether they want to kill her or what they want from her, but okay, so we run with them until she runs away from them, and we see her talking. Her friend who worked with her in the company, and she would say to her, come to me, and she would go to a place they agreed upon, and she would bring her food, and she would say to her, God bless you. I only ate tuna and nuts, and I had plenty of strong leftovers. Then she would tell her, where were you all? She said to her, you were kidnapped. She said to her, oh, blue day. You were not in Italy in your villa after you stopped working and retired. She said to her, who told you that? She said to her, saw me. Who told us that? She said to her, you son of a. All this is because of me and because of the fact that I gave the wrong dose to Danny and his death. She said to her, a few seconds, but what are you saying? Then we will know. Danny is alive and you think that he helped in this movie about Ren, but that is because you are getting ahead of the events again. Did not know where Ren was or what happened to her, just like the rest of the company, and he tells her I miss you. I woke up that day in the hospital and I don't remember anything, and I was very upset that you left without speaking to me. They said that you had retired and finished your work and career and continued to cry for a while. Then they told her that Sam had now entered into a major matter, and the agreements had become terrifyingly large. You know that there is a member of Congress who is requesting that the period of imprisonment be more than 25 years because all of this will happen. It's easy and it won't cost the state anything at all. Then she tells them, well, you'll help me. They told her Sure, look, but what do you want to do? Tell us and we'll stay with you. Then she tells them, I just want my algorithm. I don't care about the company at all. I want to help my brother. She goes to the company with me and the girl waits outside. While she's waiting, she enters her card and the girl tells them where they will find the algorithm, but they find that the second programmed boy is there and grabs it before he does anything, and at the end of the place of her algorithm in the office, and she says to him, my son, the dog, you sold me to take my job. They know that he called the police and they run quickly, and Ren hits him before she walks and goes outside. She tells Dan and Bella that their friend has been kidnapped, but they hide and take her stroller and walk away. She tells Danny, we want an addition. He tells her, all the additions in the country are in Sam's building. She tells him, no, I know one place I can go to. My father's house. Come on. They go to her father's house and she tells him, what do you think? I spent 2 hours here and I invented everything here since I was young. And then she wants to turn on the appliances and see if there is still work or not, and she sleeps from fatigue and he comes to wake her up and they go to sleep. And the next day they break their fast and go downstairs when her father comes. And she says to him, I miss you. You are the one who reported that I disappeared. Is it true? He said to her, yes, I know that it is impossible for you to leave your brother. What's wrong with you? But she kept crying and said to him, they stole my work and locked me in a cell. He said to her, I saw how bad the theft was. Then she hugs him and he tells her, this is the chemical you said about him. She said to him, oh, come on, let me show you what's wrong with me. I was doing it wrong before I was in prison, but I am correcting it now and creating a different ideal dream. My brother, instead of letting him have the choice. Now I will not do that. Now I will let him live the dream I want. She takes the memory and takes it to the hospital and gives it to her brother. The dream starts repeating from the first time he came out to the beach and he was sitting, waiting for her, and then she starts showing him while she is standing far away, and here he is actually opening his eyes. She is happy and sits trying to call him out and get over him, and she laughs and tears as he looks at her, but he no longer wants to go out with her or stay away from the beach in the dream, and she prefers to consult with him, and he is not done until he decides to get up and put down the water and take it from her, and he starts to drown again, but this time he is in the dream. His mind actually reacts to the dream, and his brain tells him that he is drowning, and he begins to have severe convulsions, and the hose inside his windpipe comes out a lot of strong blood, and he literally begins to suffer in front of his sister until it becomes difficult for her, and she knocks. She takes him off the respirator completely, and then he dies at that moment, and his sister hugs him to bid him farewell, when she knows that there is no hope for her to treat him, and then the next day she sits on the bed, upset until she finds that the poisoner comes to visit her and tells her, this is the first time I have seen a brain-dead patient who can choose through our invention, and then we see the surprise that we all did not expect. We see Ren. She is beyond the memory in which she was placed in the experience of long imprisonment from the beginning, and this means that everything she is in from the first time she puts the memory in her eyes is imagination and in the memory and not real, as she thought, and we hear the voice of the government official who saw her being hanged saying to Sham, didn't I say that there is no danger in this matter? I left them and walked away so that we could see that Rin was still getting dirty in her brother's dream of drowning, and she would go away too. Thank God, she would excel and have spent 371 days inside the memorial. She would quickly break the memorial records so that they wouldn't benefit from it. And she would hit them and smoke with them, and they would try to calm her down. Then she hits Sam Jammid so that they will let her be completely converted. Then she drinks something and thinks about what she said to the committee when they were asking her what the purpose of this idea was. She said, justifying it to them until they accepted it, and she thought that she was the one who created all this earth. Then she gets up to Sam and says to him, "Look, son of Lawful, you are the one, Tub, and I are from Sukka. We will not continue together, and I will not give you my invention. It is permissible for the company to do so, but my patent is mine." He says to her, "Are you kidding? Or what? There are still 5 days or less left until we publish the project." She tells him, "Okay, bye, I won't repeat my words again." Then we will find out that Danny died and she will go to his funeral. She cries for him and then goes to her apartment to take care of all her research and everything, and says that she will go herding cows in the Swiss countryside as I want to do. But she quickly approaches the company before her and then finds them removing everything. She goes to the workshop and finds the programmer Wissam there, and he tells her, "Look, we found something. We can modify it a lot. Can you tell us what bothered you and what made you happy about this model? Show us the model and tell them that you are not interested and you do not want to continue." By God, guys, that's it. Then Sam pulls his eye like this into the locker and turns around behind it, and the programmer sees it. Then he starts putting it in her eye against her will, and she excels at finding herself. Second, she is in prison and she is lying down. And then she sits and says that this is an algorithm, and that she won't be afraid of anything and will remain calm. And she actually starts to get out of the memory that is inside her, and she gets up and finds Sam in front of her, and she gets up and puts the memory of her eye in his eye, and he finds himself in prison, and she gets up screaming like a crazy person and tells the programmer. He pulls him with her, and she puts him on the chair and on the device, and Bella keeps himself inside the prison and makes him live exactly what she lived, and she was going to kill him with the injection, but she waited when he reached a certain point. The year ended on day number 365, and the timer started counting from the beginning and then he passed, and he got up, terrified, and he understood that she was trying to prevent an escape from O, and he didn't come by her side again. And she went out and left him like yours, and then we see her and her father when they finally decided to remove the devices from her brother and let him rest, and that these are destinies that God wrote. No matter how much we try to change them, we will not know, and everyone has his time. And her father responds at the end of the movie and decides to go and finish the movie from where it started. In the place where it started, she separated from her brother, and because of the incident that happened, she and her father decided to make the invention, and the director and producer made the movie, Nina, and now the movie is over. If you have a movie you want to hear a summary of, leave us its name in the comments.